So, hello and welcome to the third season of the Cyclist Amateur Tactics, and our team of cycling enthusiasts is now down to two, at least to two who actually take part in the races. We have made some nice progress in the past season, so let's see whether our two folks can keep the upward trajectory, and let's see how they're doing this time. So in the last episode, we ended at the season, and we ended it on a high, since we happened to win the Basara sprints, the entire tour with Maxim, after the winner of the time trial in the first stage somehow faltered on one of the subsequent stages. And that also brought us a level up for Maxim, and that's one thing we have to do before we can finish the season. So as I've said a few times before, the one important thing for Maxim is to get +1 in flat, so that he can conserve his base energy pool, which isn't too large to begin with, on any longer stages, so that he's still competitive at the end when it matters at the finish line. There are two options how we could get there. One is to give him 2 in time trial, and so you can see now it's here +1 in flat. It also gives him additional attack points. No, it doesn't. The downside is, however, we're gimping us in sprint, and since he isn't a specialist, and is probably maybe the last new skill that he'll get as the pure amateur, he's clearly faster than a Vladislav, so he will double as a time trialist and the sprinter. So I don't really want to gimp him in this other part beyond staying or winning time trials and then staying ahead enough on the subsequent stages. The other more pedestrian option, obviously, is 1 in flat, which doesn't do much else except giving him 1 in flat. But what it also does is give him a little bit more base energy to work with. So that's going to be nice. Long term, this doesn't really lead anywhere, because for instance, if we make a tour expert, it would be something like time trial 2 and then mountain 1, or the other way around. But I'm not thinking long term here. I'm thinking short term here, because this is essentially probably the end of his personal development, and therefore I think just +1 in flat makes a lot of sense, and it also gives him even a little bit more speed in time trial, which he would get this way as well, and also on a mountain time trial and in the downhill time trial. But there aren't that many instances of those around in the races that we've been run, so that wouldn't really have that much of an impact. Whereas here I conserve our decent sprint ability on the virtue of having very high energy per turn and attack per turn, and then simply add a bit of energy conservation mechanism to his skill set. Then we have also to distribute one more change to the attribute. So I'm keeping him on a recovery 1, so he'll get 3 races where he has a recovery 2, and since we've won or scored well both in the era of Timur and the Basara sprints, so that both on Fitness Peak, so that was fine. The +1 in flat should conserve energy for the classics that we have, so we're probably fine with energy. We don't need more energy per turn, since our energy pool isn't that great to begin with. Our speed is good, and more attack per turn wouldn't be useful either, since we have a reasonably low attack point pool compared to attack per turn. So that's the change I'm going to make, giving him more attack as well. So if he needs to stay in the race, he can spend a few more attack points during the stage and then still have a healthy pool of almost 3 full turns of attack per turn, which may get a little bit lower due to other influences, but otherwise I think this keeps him in reasonably good shape for his main purposes, being the resident time trialist and the sprinter, and maybe even in contention for a flat classic that doesn't have too much climbing involved. So that's going to be Maxim, and yeah, let's see how he does in the new season. And before we do that, we of course have to review or evaluate the season that's now currently or just ended. So same as last year. So I think we had lower lows, but also higher highs. So that works overall. And of course, there is the competition. Yeah, we can't be demoted further from Amateur League. Sponsor is very happy, so that's good. Although we don't really need more funding anyway. And yeah, we're looking very weak in comparison to the other teams. But that's the point of the whole thing. So yeah, we had 2 excellent races, Era of Timur, the Basara sprints, and then on 3rd place, actually the Southern Loop. And then, yeah, the epic failure of the Bobeskov, and then some mediocre classics where we simply couldn't make any headway in the final mass sprint. So hopefully that's now going to be a little bit better with the added boost to the flat scale of Maxim. So let's see what the next season has in store for us. So that's the new plan. Where do we want to participate? So Basara sprints, obviously, again. Great Lakes Tour or Hills and Valley Tour. I think the Great Lakes Tour, because these make a nice combo again, I think again, for Maxim, because here's a time trial and then one tough stage, which is early, and then 3 more stages that are more reasonable. And it will be interesting actually here to see how he performs on a longer stage, because we also have to decide where to take Vladislav with his eventual level up to level 5, and there it's important to see how Maxim does in tours, and also how Maxim does in long classics. And here it's obvious. The Rising Sun Rush. It's a bit unfortunate that this is going to be in a fitness trough, but anyway. So here we have 2 options, Hills of Vasduk or Vitessa Spring Open. I'm going for Vasduk, and again will be interesting how the performance will be here. Bildaron Tour again. Road to Novobeskov, let's have another try. The Southern Loop Classic was nice, but I think I'm going with this one. Ellisbury Cup or Naubat Classic. So that's Ellisbury Cup. Ron Highport, Cobble, is the only choice we have, since the Chrono Ridge is a mixed league event and we would need 3 riders. And I think with this overall plan, and the last one is obviously going to be Era of Timur again, we don't need our 3rd friend anymore, so we can go back to our original premise of just 2 friends and the bicycles, since there is nothing really mountainous in here. So thanks, Ulan. You did a pretty good job in the Vitessa Spring Open the last time. Oh, I can't actually drop him. So if you have 3, then you always have to keep 3. Okay, so we simply then ignore Ulan from now on. Sorry, mate. The choice for races is going to be incredibly easy now, because everyone has to participate in all of them. So minor fitness peak for Maxim on the Era of Timur time trial. Major fitness peak, so both covering the Basara Sprints and the Great Lakes Tour. Where to have the minor and major fitness peak for Ladislav, so no one of us has a technical or cobbled skill, so high port is then probably just going to be interesting. I'll put Ladislav onto minor fitness peak for the Rising Sun Rush, maybe, and Novobeskov and Ellisbury Cup. It's major, I think that's set. What I might try is, how does the Wildau Rhone Tour look this time? Yeah, so first one is probably already the decider, because the other two are a bit more docile. So it's probably not the best spot, and so that's not worth giving a minor fitness peak. It's a Vastuk or Rising Sun Rush for Vladislav, because I might actually try this one, because Vladislav isn't the fastest person in the world, so I'm not sure having the additional speed and endurance on the Rising Sun Rush will help Vladislav much, although Maxim is going to be pretty spent there. But it will be interesting how he can cope with something reasonably hilly and reasonably long compared to Maxim. So it's more of a benchmarking in terms of where to take Vladislav further. So the actual test of Maxim's new flat skill will then be both Novobeskov and Ellisbury. And then Rising Sun Rush is just something to get through. And Vastuk is then, as I said, a bit of a benchmarking thing. Okay, can we shift anything here? So if we have balanced, then we get Era of Timur. Basara sprints are not taken at any time. Why do I have such a low balance? With it's about the increased salaries for our better riders. So we actually might have to go to average expectations just to keep it balanced. So that's an interesting factor for the future. And I think I also have to set fitness peaks for Ulan, which I will simply set randomly, so that the game is happy. So as our riders grow in skill, they have more salary, and even if we're staying with a small team, then we have to probably move up to balanced or to average expectations. But certainly something we should be able to fulfill. No change here. So Era of Timur, the last race by Maxim, will probably be pretty good again. Will then yield some good prestige for the sponsor. Okay, so that's the planning, and let's see what happens in the Basara sprints. So last race of the last season, first race of the next season, and we'll certainly can get the time trial done. So let's do that. So let's have a look. Stages don't look too intimidating, and we are now among the favorites. So that's good to see. And so let's see whether we can actually meet the favorite status. So Maxim starts off. So that's going to be straightforward. So he can overtake everyone else by going here. Or almost and Vladislav simply goes max speed. So we're going across the line. Further max speed with Vladislav. So, we start the season as we ended the last one, with a victory in the opening prologue of the Basara sprints. And since this was quick, and the next stage isn't too long, we'll also finish that one so that we have a bit of an idea where we are. And we're almost back to full with Maxim, and a little bit short on attack points with Vladislav, but he's just going to support anyway. So we can drop back since all this is all flat. There's a short climb before the finish, so that's worth checking out when that actually starts. So that's 46, so we can move forward at 100. I'm keeping Vladislav in the second group so that he can move forward in case the need arises. And he needs to pull the peloton ahead, which at the moment doesn't seem to be the case. No escapees going, and everyone behaving themselves. And no one has any inclination to overexert themselves. This climb jumpable? Probably is. So people going to the start of the climb. So now we nope, no one's coming forward, so no escapees, and this looks jumpable. And we do. And I think now the +1 in flat helps nicely, since Maxim pays the same amount of energy as Vladislav does. So not much is happening. And we simply follow along, because all we need to do is simply arrive on time with everyone else, and then no one will be able to steal the leader jersey from us. That was very tame, but that's fine with me. Wow, they are certainly not breaking into any sweat. One team is coming forward. One team with ambitions, question mark. Actually getting energy back for Maxim. Oh, that's nifty. So I will now start moving Maxim forward. Just to be ready if someone tries anything strange at the final climb, but looks pretty jumpable. But you never know. So there's one team at the front, but they're not doing anything for the time being. Let's check who it is. The Xenotech computing team. Okay. Whoever they are. So now everyone's coming forward. I wonder why. Because there is not much going to happen here. Nice here the downhill skill active for Maxim, so that he actually paid one less. So we are also now moving forward because they are going to move hard, but simply to jump the final climb. Okay, people are going. People are going. So we simply follow the faster group, and that's why we came out of hiding. And we can follow without much trouble. Yeah, Vladislav ahead of Maxim. That makes sense. Wow. They were in real main business, but shouldn't be too problematic. So Vladislav has done his job, and I can start saving attack points for the final stage. Maxim can rise along, and I think now the larger attack pool helps as well. Do I want to spend 4 attack points? Most certainly not. Because Vladislav is just on a recovery one. So I'm at the, towards the end, and that's fine. I simply want to arrive on the same turn as the other guys. I'm getting 2 attack points back, so I'm a pretty healthy energy state at the finish. I'm not going to sprint. I'm fine in 6th or whatever that's going to be. And Vladislav is going to conserve energy points. So there was a bit more action than in the last race. So we stayed with the favorites in the top group. So overall we're still leading, and Vladislav has now dropped a bit behind, but he's not on his fitness peak, so short on recovery. Back to full energy, and still missing a few attack points, and Maxim looks in excellent shape for the final 2 stages. Let's just stay where we are, and I'm happy. So it's going to be a flat stage overall, so let's go backwards to enjoy some slipstream. Maxim goes all the way to the end. Vladislav stays here just in case. We don't have to make special arrangements for anything like climbs or something. It's basically straightforward, and then just get out at the normal distance from the end. No escapees, so probably everyone's saving effort for the final dash. One guy's going. Sometimes these overlapping Images are difficult to see. I'm moving Bloodless left to the front, just in case I have to do some work, and probably have enough energy anyway, and that wasn't the hardest pull, and there may be some harder pulls coming up, so I'm moving Maxim forward. So this is certainly sensible. So the SKP is now behind. That's a bit weird. I'm not moving back and forth with Vladislav now. Maxim can stay where he is. Okay, now they're flooring it. As long as I can follow, I'm happy. Okay, everyone's coming forward. So I better too. Hang on. Next one. This was a bit of a hard move. Now it's a little bit better. So in case people start going now, because there's a slight ascent. And it's just one attack point, and I certainly have that. Okay, false alarm. Okay, folks are going. And I think I'll just join them. And I'm at the end, and that's fine with me. But I still have my speed. And Vladislav, yeah, can just roll over the finish line now. So I'm going where they're going. And all the same time, where could I go? So I could go up to 4th, so no podium. I would pay 7 attack points. I have them, so I feel like it. Though I don't, probably doesn't really matter. And yeah, Vladislav will save his attack points and you wouldn't get that many back. Because who knows what happens on the final stage. So, we defended. That's all we needed to do, thanks to the time trial at the start. So we're still in the yellow jersey, and we just did our job here. Get a few points for the green jersey, but that's probably a matter of the top 2 probably duking it out here. So nothing that concerns us. Okay, now both full or almost full energy. So Maxim still leading, Vladislav safely embedded among the also-rans, and now the final stage a bit longer, but nothing spectacular. So let's just stay with the top folks. And one thing that certainly made a huge difference here is the +1 in flat skill without diminishing the ability to sprint. So let's duck into the peloton. And let's see what kind of games they're playing now on this reasonably long stage. So Maxim all the way to the back, and Vladislav is staying here. Still no one going. Guess it will be the same story. To see whether I'm able to stay with them at the very end. And probably especially over this stage, the +1 and flat skill should make all the difference. Okay, peloton is increasing speed somewhat, and we're losing the first folks. Yep, so they're pushing, but nothing we couldn't handle. Guess they want to keep the folks that just dropped behind behind. What I'm thinking, since I have... I was thinking about the green jersey for Vladislav, but there are only a few points to get in the middle, and only one guy at the front leading, so that's weird. Will this be... No, next one will be passed. So now people are coming to the front. I guess they want to have the intermediate sprint points, which I could care less about. Okay, 10 folks are going, and I have to get into action here. So Vladislav to the front, Maxim as well. Okay, now Vladislav can show what he can do in terms of pulling the field. Because these are making some headway. Still some distance to go, and the terrain is getting varied. I don't have that many extra points, but if I go one further, which is a pretty insane investment for attack points, and Maxim couldn't follow for some reason. If I were to go any further, I could go into the 12. I'm not sure why Maxim can't follow if I'm... because I'm not in the relay? Maybe? Okay. So maybe that's why. So I'm going to the relay. And Maxim also goes to the front. And we need to catch those guys. Yeah, so that's a necessary lead out to the 12. And he can follow. And I might put one more pull in Vladislav. So probably two more pulls. Any difference where I'm ending up? Not really. 6-5 on that 9. 6-6 on that 9, so it's about one less than the max. Don't have to break out just yet. Could have maybe repositioned further towards the back, but probably not the shortest way. So two folks are still ahead. See who we can catch. Yeah, and I probably have to, because they're able to, well, they're able to finish. Probably, maybe even. So I will have to break. Can I finish from here? No. Can I finish from here? No. They will be. So I have the attack points. Max or one less? So again, this is into the 7. 1 to 2 short of the finish line, and this is also 2 short of the finish line. This may have the chance that more people can actually follow and give me some slipstream. I have 2 more full pulls in me, and I probably want or need them. So Vladislav has done his job. Can leave the relay. Yeah, so they did an excellent job getting away. And I guess that's farewell, leader jersey. Not too bad. It will be interesting to look at the replay here and see what made the difference. So for the final sprint, I think I'm happy because I have still a very large pool of attack points. So I can go here and then easily outsprint everyone. So that's 7th overall, and probably a farewell to the leader jersey. So that was well done by the AI. So yeah, that's a healthy difference. 5th overall. So that's not too bad. And yeah, Vladislav further down. So that was really interesting what the AI did. But nevertheless, a good season opener. And we were 3 days into the leader jersey, won the time trial, and ended up 5th overall. So yeah, a nice way to start the season. So let's just get the scouting out of the way. So next is the Great Lakes Tour. And one thing to note was maybe that Maxim was just on his minor fitness peak, but I didn't feel any constraints from too little energy. So that may or may not have made any impact on the actual performance. And here it's probably going to be a similar story. So 1 time trial to start, which is excellent. Short prologue. 1 thing to survive, and then more stages that don't look too scary. So it will be another interesting race in the next episode.